We'll get started. So the first board priority we're going to begin with, and a cluster of departments, is ensure healthy, let's see, am I read this correctly? Ensure safe, healthy, and secure communities. Ensure safe, healthy, and secure communities. So this is human services, social services, public safety. We're going to start with the Disaster Management Department. Daniel Neibauer is the Interim Director of Disaster Management. Come on up, Daniel. So Daniel, I'm going to give it right to you. So please use those 2 pages we discussed. Read the tab and the page number for the page you're referring to. Again, no PowerPoint, so I'm asking you please refer to the page in your binder, or if you're using a laptop, you can go to the presentation online if you need to. But Daniel, so go ahead.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and Budget Committee members. I am Daniel Neibauer, Interim Director of Clackamas County Disaster Management. I'll be sharing some information regarding the Disaster Management 2022-2023 budget. It is on tab 11, and I'll start on page 5. Disaster management is primarily funded by general fund along with some federal grants, including the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funds. The department is requesting approximately $4,520,680 for the FY 22-23 budget. Of that total, approximately 80%, $3,657,814, is general fund support, which represents a 0.5% increase from last year. The remainder is restricted funding from a variety of federal sources, including the Federal Emergency Management Agency and ARPA. Moving on to page 7, on tab 11, is the summary of revenue and expenses. On revenues, we are seeing a small increase of 2.3% from awarded federal grants, 2.3% from awarded federal grants. There is a decrease of $79,750 in charges, fees, license, permits, fines, assessments. This represents salary reimbursements that were reclassified into a correct category. You can see an approximately corresponding increase on all other revenue resources, as well as it's also a cost share from other departments that had been paying for an alerting software that the state now covers for all counties within the state. On expenses, there is a 15.9% increase due in part to additional limited duration staff funded through ARPA that have been assisting in the COVID response, as well as cost of living increases for permanent staff that is requested from general fund support. The 87.3% decrease in special payments represents costs that have been reclassified into correct materials and services that are also approximately reflected into materials and services and personnel services.
And that's your presentation. So happy to answer any questions the committee has about the Disaster Management Department proposed budget.
I see no one with their card up, sir. So Commissioner Smith has a comment.
We added some FTE to the department.
Last year, yes.
Yes. Is that fully staffed now?
Yes, all 3 of those positions are staffed.
Okay.
Wait a minute. The FTE goes from 11.8 to 19.5.
There was additional, do my math right, 3.5 staff for the disaster activation. Those were the staff that are supporting the COVID response.
Oh, I see. So those are temporary, and those will go away when
correct.
the COVID money goes away.
Yes, limited duration.
Daniel, thank you for that clarification.
Yes.
And they have been hired, and they're good to go.
Correct. One of those positions is remaining vacant because we're not anticipating, but want to be responsive to anything that may be needed.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have Mr. Karn and then Commissioner Savas.
Excuse me, it's Sonia. It's her card.
Oh, it's her. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even stop
okay.
to read it. I just saw
You
it.
could see it down here. Can you see it down here if it's up?
Not really.
Not very well. So
we're tag teaming.
There you go.
yeah, there you go. So Commissioner Fisher then.
Given the level of challenges, COVID, wildfires, ice storms, it's pretty remarkable if you just look from 19 to 20 to now. I know it goes up during 2021. I'm thinking of revenue here. But it's not that significant of changes. And I'm curious, I'm sure that the actual for 1920, that's the actual budget of revenues and expenses for that year. for 1920? I'm sorry,
Yes.
we're looking at tab 11.7.
Yes.
So I guess my overall big picture question, as I look at all of this, is we're moving forward. So we have created a council, we're creating 21 zones, we are looking at more community engagement on how do we be more resilient. We've instituted a lot based on what we have learned from the disasters and the challenges that we've had. So can you explain how any of that is reflected in the budget?
Certainly, looking at the 1920, it looks like there was a little bit of money left over, so there was less expenses. In addition to, we've accounted for several big projects, including zone planning, so that supporting that zone planning, some access and functional needs, some annual plans and communications plans, all the plans that we need to update or create for that. So I think that kind of elimination of the carryover of the budget reflects the difference in the expenses for this current year, which will be higher than they were in the 1920 year.
Okay, so I'm just curious, maybe this is a Gary question, didn't any excess go back to the general fund?
Any unspent general fund, yes, returns to the general fund at the end of the fiscal year.
Oh, but then other federal dollars or would stay
Correct.
within the
If it-
department?
Yeah, correct, yes.
So that's probably where that 1.7 was related to for 1920. Okay, but for as far as needing additional staffing to do our work for creating the zones, do we have we hired more staff? Have we increased to meet
Yeah.
that need?
We now have 2 planners. We added one this year, and one of them we focused on the disaster zone planning.
Okay, when I became a brand-new commissioner and I went to my first budget and I looked at what was being spent, I sat with Nancy Bush and said, really, you can do all that you do for this county with this amount of money? And she said, well, we really could use an extra $500,000. And so we did that in one of the budgets years ago. But I guess my question for you is, do you have enough resources to do everything that because this board, well, now, this budget committee, we care a whole lot about making sure that we create as much resiliency as possible.
Yeah, I have the resources for what's planned next year. I have the resources I need.
That's an excellent answer. Thank you, Daniel.
Commissioner's office.
Yeah, so Gary, in response to, I want to make sure, so under this, ensure safe, healthy, and secure communities, it's all covered under tab 11, or is there more?
No, I'm sorry, we're doing, under the umbrella of safe, healthy, and secure communities, we're doing departments one by one that fit within that strategic priority. So this is just disaster management now.
Okay, could you list those for me? Just verbalize what those are
Yes,
for a
so the
moment.
departments that I'm categorizing anyway as under healthy, safe, and secure communities, disaster management, CCOM, juvenile, resolution services, and health, housing, and human services.
Okay. Yeah, I think that when I read this, right, I think it might mean something to different people, how it's interpreted, and when I hear about safety, what's important, what's on people's mind, we use the word safe or communities, that maybe we're not covering all of the bases. Law enforcement, I probably think is one of the biggest ones, I would say. The homeless population, one of the biggest ones, not safe shelter. Those people not feeling safe. So I just want to throw that out there.
Thank you very much. Seeing no other comment cards, thank you very much. Appreciate your work on this.